Cut lists are used to document weldment designs. They contain information as to the type of structural members used, the lengths of the individual segments, and any other information necessary to manufacture a weldment. SolidWorks automatically creates a cut list as you design a weldment. As soon as a structural member is added to a weldment design, the cut list folder is added to the Feature Manager design tree as you see here. Notice the Solid Bodies folder is missing. When a structural member is added to a part, making it a weldment, the Solid Bodies folder is replaced by the cut list folder. As you continue to design your weldment, each new solid body, including structural members, gussets, end caps, and plates, are each listed individually within the cut list folder. This will become your cut list, complete with lengths and quantities of the individual elements that make up your weldment. Although cut lists are generated automatically, you must decide when to update it. This allows you to add new components to the weldment without having to update the cut list each time. A circular icon with 2 green arrows indicates that the cut list needs to be updated. To update the list, simply right-click and select Update. When the list is updated, you can see that several subfolders are created within the cut list folder. These contain like items. All structural members of the same size are listed together. All end caps of the same size are listed together, and so on. Structural members and weldment components are represented by this icon. Sheet metal bodies are displayed with this sheet metal part icon, and any other solid bodies are shown with a plain folder. You can also reorder folders. Simply click and drag them the same way you'd reorder features in the Feature Manager tree, or components in an assembly tree. You can also exclude items from the cut list by right-clicking them and selecting Exclude from Cut List. If you change your mind and want to include them, just right-click them again and select Include in Cut List. One thing to keep in mind, however, before you make any changes or reorder the cut list, you'll want to be certain that your model is completed. If you add any additional items or features to the model later on, you'll lose all of the changes you made to the cut list order. Once the weldment is in a 2D drawing, you can easily add the cut list using the Table drop-down icon. You will see Weldment Cut List. This brings up the Cut List Property Manager. The options you have here are similar to those you see when adding a bill of materials to an assembly drawing. You can select a template, specify whether to use an anchor for the table, and choose the numbering sequence for the item numbers. If you insert a cut list as I just did, and you end up with an entirely blank list that only shows the column headers, it's likely that you forgot to update the cut list in your weldment part file. All you have to do is return to the part file, right-click on the cut list in the Feature Manager tree, and select Update. When you return to your drawing, the table will be populated correctly. Once the cut list table is in place, you will have 4 default columns: item number, quantity, description, and length. The description and length fields may or may not be automatically populated based on the components in your weldment. Structural members, as you can see here, will have description and length filled in automatically. Other components, such as the end caps in this weldment, will not show a description or length by default. You must add these properties manually. If this was an assembly bill of materials and you wanted to add or modify a property such as description to one of the listed components, you would simply make the change in the file properties for that component. Here, however, these individual elements are not part files. They are simply solid bodies within a single weldment part file. Because of this, to add or modify the description field, we must go back to the weldment part and look within the cut list item in the feature tree.